Does that work for you?
I see the options to open with WinRAR, extract files, extract here, and then extract to the witness game PC for
Folder, right. So you
right.
can choose that option and it will create a folder and extract files to there. So ignore the fact
Oh,
that it detects as an AI file. That's probably just settings that need to change with your computer.
so
Mhm.
I have to do that for each piece.
Yep, I know that it seems tedious, but guess what? If you got one big 4 GB file and when it reaches 3.9, your internet chip out, that would really be painful. You
Mm-mm.
understand? So,
Yeah, I think you can highlight all of them and extract all of them in
mm,
one.
no, don't do that
I
either
wonder.
because
That wouldn't make sense. That would put you back in the same position as if it was a big file, wouldn't it?
when you select more than one file to download in Google, Google tries to zip it before downloading
Oh yeah, that's
it.
also true.
Right. So yeah, so it's gonna put you back in the same position, and you're gonna have to wait longer for it to be zipped, and it's already zipped and split.
So I mean,
Yep,
like
that's
to
what happened
export
to
it to
me.
the.
Oh, okay, right. So yeah, um, yeah, man. So we're not gonna test it in class. That's why I gave you that kind of video, so at least you know what to expect. You know, it's a bit tranquil, and there's an element of puzzle in there, and I don't know. As I say, test it out, see what you think. Send snap a screenshot of an interesting ear or an ear that is intriguing. Paste it on the whiteboard, mirror board, and then we'll talk about it next week when we move into our next topic. By the way, I hear that your study tour has been pushed back yet again. So I guess I'll be seeing you next week again, right?
Sadly.
Well, guess what? It may work out in your favor too, So, we'll see how it goes. When we start to go into cinematography, um, there might be some benefit with going to with doing the urban study while we're doing that topic. Because we're going to have to capture stuff with our phones, and if you're going out, it makes it easier. So it don't really affect us. We have a schedule, so I will just continue shifting it down in the schedule, and you guys can just continue checking that schedule, and we'll just adapt to it. I was explaining that nowadays we get used to plans being turning upside down by the whim of a moment. You go to a restaurant one day and you see it closed. You go to a bank and all of a sudden it's closed. And there's all kind of things that is happening that is not really planned for. But it's just the times that we live in. So let's embrace the chaos and enjoy the sporadic nature of things. At least we won't be bored. Oh Lord. Okay. All right. So that was our first little task I wanted to highlight there. Um, all right. So as I said, what I wanted to do was to share an experience in which infographic was used. Just to kind of close that chapter on infographics there. And then if any of you want to meet, we can meet. And then after that, you're free to go. So I have a project here that I want to show you guys. Here we go. Come on. All right. It's a typical, well, it's your typical architectural project. It was actually in the news a couple of times, maybe not so new, maybe like 3 years ago, because it's almost done now. But during the creation process, we had a communication challenge, which which was solved by using some architectural infographics, because of the complexity um, of this particular design. So what I'm going to share with you might sound complex, and that's okay. It's actually okay if it sounds complex and if you kind of get confused, like you say, what? How is that design so what's the word? Complex. It's perfectly fine if you think that, because that was the whole reason why we needed infographics to simplify. All right. So let me just explain the scheme of this project. It is a resort project, and it sounds like your typical resort. It has a few room blocks, and every room blocks have different units. So for example, we have 3 room blocks here. Oh, sorry, I opened something. There we go. Right. I'll come back to that a little later. Right. So we have 3 room blocks here, and the RS that is here stands for River Suites. That's that RS that is there. So we have block A, and the block A unit has 3 floors and some units. Then we have block B, also having 3 floors, and then we have block C. Right? Continuing with that, we have another pool unit here, but we're not going to pay this any mind because that's really simple. And then we have another block down here called OS block, which is an ocean suite block. Right? So if I should show you a site plan of this scheme, it would look something like this. I know this was blurry for some of you, but can you see? You don't have to read the text, but can you make out what you're looking at? Or should I say anybody can't really make it out? Is it like super blurry for you? Nope. It's okay. You can see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okie doke. All right. So what we looked on a while ago, this is called the river. Let me change the color of this here. Let's make it that color. All right. All right. So this is called the river units. That's here. And this is called the ocean units. That's here. And this is called the pool units. But we're not going to pay attention to the pool units for right now. Right. So this is where we're looking at the river units, which had 3 blocks. Right. So this RS that's here. That stands for river units. And then we have a block C. I think this is block B, and I think this is block A, if memory serves me right. And then this is just one big block. So this is I would say a fairly decent sized architectural project. And it's somewhat understandable as we look on the scheme. Now, the thing is, these are the plans for this scheme, right? And let me just kind of zoom out. I know you're not seeing the details on the plan yet, but just to kind of give you an idea. So I believe this is the ocean suite. So here we have the, this is the ground floor, first floor, second floor, and the roof. And then this, I believe, is block C. And this is probably block B and block A. So you can see all of the plans for these units. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the plans now. And as somebody in the architectural field, I mean, and especially if you were the one that designed these plans, you're fairly able to understand this plan. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit because this is a block that contains many rooms. So let me zoom into one side. If I take a holistic view of the block, right, you can kind of see a little bit of a dividing line here. And the kind of approach used with this is where we have some units over here, and then these units are mirrored over here, which is again kind of typical for this type of multi-unit project, right? Everybody following me so far? Everybody understanding the scheme of this project so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, if I zoom in a little bit here, let's go into one of the units. Again, it's pretty standard. We can kind of see the entrance to the unit that's here, and we can hit a left turn here into one of the bedrooms, or we can go straight into the living, the kitchen and dining room, which is about right here. We can proceed into the living area, and then here is another bedroom here. We can go straight out to a porch right here. So this, this floor plan is fairly understandable, especially by us because we're in the field, and especially if you are the designer. Here's another unit out here where you have the entrance, and we can see that this is more of a one-bedroom unit, like a studio unit, I would say, not one bedroom. So everything is fairly open, and you just walk all the way to the back. And then you can kind of see where this is mirrored on this side, like that. Now, as you go a little further down, as you go a little further across, kind of go across a little bit more, you can see another type of unit here, which kind of looks like, here's another type of unit here, which is really like this unit here that is mirrored and placed over here. So, so we start to increase in a little bit of complexity as we try to rework how units are used, right? Now, as we go into, and the same thing is on the right side as the left side. Now, as we go on the first floor, we start to see where some things are basically repeated, but then when we go on the floor above that, come on, we can see that things start to change up a little bit. So for example, if I kind of zoom in here, this unit looks pretty much the same, where you enter, oops, that's a bit big. Keep changing the size of this thing, right? Where you enter and you can also go left into the bedroom. And remember that same thing, we went into the kitchen and dining and then the living, and then we can go into a bedroom here. But then notice this unit starts to change because this is no longer a studio unit. There is now a stairs that leads up top. So the reason I'm showing you this now is to say, is you kind of see how, okay, so when we're going up now, some of these units starts to change in how it is laid out. Now, the interesting thing is that, and of course, there's a upper floor, and of course, there are 3 different types. Now, if you think about a project like this, you as a designer, you need to communicate everything that is going on in this design, not only to the persons who might be marketing the project, but also to your end users. Like, think about you as somebody who you want to purchase a unit, maybe it's for investments or whatever, and you want to know, exactly where your unit is. So maybe you go into the office, not necessarily the architectural office, but maybe the developer's office, and they say, hey, I have a 2-bedroom for sale. And we might say, okay, what does it look like? Now, these drawings, I would call them design drawings, not necessarily presentation drawings. It's definitely not construction drawings, but they are more design drawings. Now, from this, we would usually create a kind of more presentation worthy drawings, and you can kind of see that going on here. Kind of zoom in so you can see it a bit. So these are presentation drawings of those same plans, but instead of showing the entire block like this, where things can get a little confusing, you know, because units are mirrored and all of this thing. We normally extract a sample plan, and you might know about this, maybe discuss this kind of thing in studio. So what you're looking on here are all the different types of units that are found in the entire river suite. So just to kind of remind you where that is, here we go. Remember, these are the river suites here. So between those three buildings that are there, these are the varied type of plans that you find divided amongst those three buildings. Now, you as a person, as a client, or maybe you work at the development firm, or maybe you are in the architect's office and you have to present to your client, you know, maybe you would show something like this where it is, you know, it's more pleasing to look at, it's inviting, and it tells you the different designs, the different layouts that you came up with for each unit. So for example, I just pick one at random here, like this unit here. This was the one that we were looking on earlier. So here's a typical unit here, and it's the same thing where it's turned the other way. So you enter and you might go into a bedroom here, proceed to the kitchen and dining, living, and then we can go into another bedroom there. So, you know, this view is a bit more engaging. So we call this a presentation drawing. Now things start to get a little bit complex now when you start to say, oh, for example, I like this unit number 6, but then where is that unit? You know, what does it look like? What are the views like? You know, what does the when I go to this balcony, what am I seeing? Because remember, in that case, you wouldn't necessarily show these block plans to like the end user, because they can easily get confused as to, okay, so this unit is only on the upper floor, but it's not on the first floor. So do you understand, you know, you understand how the scheme is getting a bit more complex in how it's laid out? You guys following this thus far? You guys with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. And of course, this is where you go into now showing some three-dimensional. So for example, you might show, well, actually it's not this unit, but you know, this is what that scheme looks like. Well, this is kind of highlighted in that color, but actually I have this file open now. I dug up this file, and funny enough, on the same topic of architecture and game engines, this project was actually created in a game engine, and this one is called Unreal Engine. So to show you where these units are located, I'm going to show you that project file. But right before I do that, anybody ever heard of the game engine Unreal Engine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What games was it used to make?
Sir, I don't know, but I know that Twin Motion is under that now.
Umbrella.
Yeah, and
Right.
there's Unreal is also a rendering program. So yeah, that's all I know.
Right. So
Sir, PUBG. You Unreal create PUBG.
Okay, cool.
Sir.
All right, cool. So some of us might know some games that the engine was used to create, and some of us know that Epic is the program. Epic is the company, like how Autodesk is the company.
Yes, sir. Epic Games.
Right. So Epic is a company. Exactly. That makes.
So don't we have to like have an account for Epic Games before we use Twinmotion?
Exactly. So you have to have an account for Epic Games. Epic Games is who makes Twinmotion, and Twinmotion is particularly tailored towards the architectural industry. Now, Twinmotion is really a spin-off from Unreal Engine. So, you know, you can think about Unreal Engine as a kind of novel, and Twinmotion is one of the chapters of the novel. You know, they just took out a chapter and sell it to the industry of architecture. But the mother or the parent of Twinmotion, or where it was taken from, right? You could almost say a rib was taken from Unreal Engine and was used to create Twinmotion. You could almost think of it that way, right? And that is because this whole adaptation of persons realizing that these two industries are simple. So in any case, for this particular project, Unreal Engine was used, and I'm going to preview that for you in just a bit. There we go. So can you guys see that image?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's still bright, sir, but we can make
And
out
kind of
a
make
little-
it out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the interesting thing about this is they haven't loaded. Okay, there we go. All right, let's go to okay, there we go. Right, so that's a different view there, right? Now, the interesting thing about this is that it is indeed a game engine. And one thing that we know about game engine is that it is real time. So what I'm doing now is actually moving around, giving you a tour of that complex. So we were looking on block C, which is this block here, right? And this is where we can generate images. So maybe we might generate an image like this, and we would give rendered images that we usually do. It's commonplace for us to give rendered images now. Whether we're using Twinmotion, most of us might use Lumion, but the premise is basically the same. Now, so now we have a view of the exterior. We have presentation of every unit that is available. But think about that question. Somebody comes to you and say, show me a 2-bedroom unit. And you say, oh, well, okay, this is what the 2-bedroom unit looks like. This is a plan of the 2-bedroom unit. And then they say, yeah, but this is it by itself. Show me how it looks in the building. So you might say, okay, well, this is a 3D rendering of it. And then you say, okay, yeah, but where is that 2-bedroom? And maybe you can kind of identify it. But right away, some of the units here are 2-bedroom, some are 3-bedroom. And to give you an idea of how the design, how the architect has kind of put this together like a puzzle piece, I'm going to show you from another program. This program is 3ds Max, right? And this would be more like your, maybe this would represent like a model from maybe like a Revit or like an ArchiCAD. So this is just the block model with walls and that kind of stuff. But I have here in this scene also a kind of a party diagram, or it kind of looks like a party diagram. And what this is showing me is these are the different units that are used in the building, right? So this is the kind of building here. It's just represented as a block. And everywhere you see a separation is actually a new unit. So for example, let me just kind of isolate this so that it's by itself. All right, here we go. And let's switch to a orthographic kind of view. All right, so now So check this out. Here is a unit down here. These 3 units are the same. And then we have 4 units here. Now from this party diagram, we can kind of recognize where the units are. So in a way, this kind of, this communicates a connectivity between showing me a plan and then showing me where on the building that plan is. And because it has simplified the plan so much, it's now easy to identify that, okay, here's a studio unit, here's a 3-bedroom unit, and so forth. Here's another unit up here, and here's another unit here. Everybody following so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I keep asking you that because you notice every time I ask you, I layer another layer of complexity. All right. So by the time we're done here, we're going to end up with a layered cake of complexity. All right. So anyway, so what was interesting about this is that what's really happening in terms of the design is we have a unit here, and I might have to use a different color with this one so you can see it. So this unit here was used to make this ground floor of this unit here. Same thing for this. This unit here, the ground floor was used to make the ground floor of this unit, because we can see that all of these big blocks here really represent 2 floors. You have 1 floor down here, and then you have another floor up here. So this is where things get interesting. So for example, now this unit over here is really the same as this upper unit here, but it is combined with this unit here, which is really a copy of that unit there, to make a new unit. This unit is combined over here, but then with a little addition here, which is representing a balcony, to make another type of unit. And that leaves a little space here, which is really the ground floor unit that moves up to here to make a copy of that. So you can see how the architect has reused designs to combine with other designs, like a puzzle piece, to make new units, but it's really the same type of units being recycled, but with different arrangements. All right, let me ask my regular question. Everybody follow me so far?
Sir, I'm kind of confused.
I know, and that's good, because if you are confused, then imagine the client. Like, imagine trying to explain to somebody, you know, this design. You say, oh, it's a 3-bedroom, but I know you like the 1-bedroom, but guess what? The 3-bedroom uses a piece of the 1-bedroom and combines it with another piece to make another. I mean, that would just totally explode the brain of not only the end user client, but also maybe the person's marketing the project. And this was the actual issue with the project. The design was complete, and the architects understood the design. But I'm telling you, down to the persons who even helped to draw it up sometimes got confused, because, you know, think about saying, okay, this unit is copied here and combined with that unit to make another unit, you know. So even though all of this information is generated, you have the regular architectural drawings, then you have presentation drawings, and you have 3D renderings, and in this case, you even have a party diagram. This is where architectural infographics come in, because you need a way to layer those information so that it is transferred instantly without you having to go into any complicated explanations to try and explain how the unit is laid out, right? So the problem here is not showing what the design looks like. or showing what the floor plan is like, but rather communicating now where on the building is this plan, right? And this is where now the whole use of the infographics will come in. And this is where actually was one of the problems that I had to solve. So this kind of diagram here kind of gives you an idea of the different units that make up. And remember, you know, this is only one block, right? Remember, there are 4 different blocks. So just imagine this confusion multiplied by 4 times. So this is the perfect opportunity that is ripe for use with an infographic. And I'm going to show you some here. And what was created here was, here is one. So we call this an elevation profile map, right? And what this is, I mean, it's really simple. It's not any kind of complex drawing. But can you guys understand this map? Because, you know, basically it has the rendering in the background. And then what it has are these puzzle pieces that kind of explains where each unit is. But not only that, it also overlays other information. So for example, if a person should say, I want to purchase unit 49. Where is 49 on the building? Well, instantly the information of where it is combined with what it looks like. So there's a rendering in the background. And the thing is, the renderings that are in the background were the same renderings that were used for the marketing of the project. So in the page would look something maybe like this. So in that document, you had views that were generated here. I'll just switch back to the program here. So you would perhaps have a view rendered like that. But then overlaid over this view is the elevation map that shows you can easily know from this what units are 2-story. The fact that this unit extends over that unit and this unit extends over that unit, and then it has the unit titles there. But not only that, let's take a look down here. Look at this, what's called a elevation matrix. And what this is saying is, you could look at these 2 diagrams and, for example, identify that unit 85, let me use a different color. So unit 85, which is this unit, that's here. But then look where it falls. So this unit here is on the river suite because it's in this row. It is a 2-bedroom unit because it is in this column. So this column has all of the 2-bedroom units and this column has all of the ocean units. Then we can see that there are 2 of them. That's there, the number here. So the person who is selling the units will know that, oh, okay, there are 2 of these units and it's located right here on the 3D diagram. But then there's even another thing. The person who is buying can instantly, because of this matrix, they can compare. They can say, oh, but wait, there is another unit like this that is located on the river suites that is also 2-bedroom, and 2 of them are there. Sorry for this, it's getting confusing here, but you get the idea, right? Everybody can see how this matrix works. Can you follow it, or are you still confused?
Yes, sir. Sir, I can see.
Okay. And that's the idea. We can, for example, here's another example. So unit 82, that's this. We can identify it because the shape is the same. The color coding is the same. What other information can it tell us? Well, there are 2 of this unit type here. We know that it is in the river suite. And we know that there is none like it in the, sorry, it's in the ocean suite, and there is none like it in the river suite. So we know that this only exists in the ocean suite. So it's like the person who is purchasing the unit, instantly they know that, okay, so this is only located on a certain part of the map. There is no other option like it, and there is only 2 of it. In addition to this information here, you can see information below where this tells you the total amount of this unit type. So for example, this 2-bedroom here, there are 8 of them in total. 2 of them is on the ocean suite, and then you have these versions that are on the river suite. So I mean, there's just so much information that you can get from this, but this is when you looked on the different types of chart, this is another type of chart here, but it's not like a typical chart like a bar chart. In this case, it's actually been used to kind of tell you a location where these units are amongst this very puzzle piece kind of drawing. And if you really look, when you look at the rendering, you can see that, you know, the rendering doesn't really even tell you where it is. The rendering just looks like one big building with repeated units. It's really the infographic that shows you what these units are. All right. And here is another page here that was rendered. So what you're seeing on this infographic is you're seeing a rendering of the unit, but you're also seeing what units are located on this page. So I'll show you what these, so there are pages that are generated that looks like this. So what is it showing you? It shows you the layout of the floor plan. It shows you where are these floor plans located, and then it shows you what that unit looks like. All of that information together combined with infographics, so that you need nobody to explain this design scheme. Yet when I was explaining it to you, you see how I layered layer of information upon layer of information, and then it reaches a point where it is just really complex. But with infographics, we can just simply simplify the information. All right, any questions on this?
No, sir.
Okay, so I take it that everybody kind of understand how architectural infographics was used to really save the day on this project. Now, I want you to think about the project that you guys are doing for your studio project, right? I mean, you are dealing with high-rise projects. There are sections of your building that are going to be, you know, maybe from floor 5 to floor 10 is going to be residential, and from the ground floor to the 3rd floor is going to be commercial. So think about conveying this information. I mean, you don't want to show a beautiful rendering and then you have to explain where everything is. You want to be able to show your rendering and instantly communicate where everything is using an infographic, but not just an infographic that shows a bar chart and fancy graphics, but an architectural infographic that can communicate critical information about the location of where things are. So I know that for your project, you may not go into like every single room that is going to be located on the high rise, but at least the zones. Like suppose you want to communicate a particular zone that is important to your building. You use some of the the techniques that we learned, for example, combining a party diagram with information to get architectural infographics. You can also use straight up infographics, for example, when you need to represent population data or maybe data that has to do with your context. Like maybe you want to talk about the heights of all the buildings around your structure and you want to represent that as a bar chart, you know? So I'm just saying this to kind of point out the benefits of trying to combine infographics with architecture. And I am going to be looking forward to those final presentations, looking on those sheets to see who really utilized some of the things that they learned about architectural infographics to help them explain the project better. Right? I mean, you guys are going to be walking into this situation, you know. I mean, think about it. I was showing this project earlier. Anybody knows of the Witter Village Center in Montego Bay? Anybody know about that side? No?
No, sir, I don't know it.
Well, I went to, should be something fairly easy to Google. There we go. Witter Village Shopping Center, Montego Bay. Let's just jump to Google Maps real quick. All right, so this is where we are, because remember we're global now. Some people are not even in the island. So Jamaica and Montego Bay right up here. This is the shopping center here. Let's switch to satellite view. All right, so that's a complex right there, right? And you can see that it's quite complex. And I remember I was hired. I actually started to work right before my final presentation in CSA, right? My first day of work. I was still working on my final project. And when I came into the office, that was Clifton Yap Architects, they were already a good maybe 2 years into this project. So most of the drawings were being finalized, and they were having multiple meetings with all of the tenants. I mean, think about the pharmacies and the supermarkets and the store. Everybody who invested in purchasing a store here, everybody wants to know where their building is, you know, what it looks like, you know, who are they next to. So all of that information, this is the kind of environment that you guys are going to be walking in, where you're going to have to find creative ways to communicate critical information about a site, but not spend an hour explaining it. The information graphics needs to speak architecture and information by itself. And I can tell you from now that the principal architect is going to be looking towards you guys as architectural students to find solutions for this. You might see your friends working in a firm and see that they're doing graphics and say, oh, well, we're going to do 3D and all that. And yeah, you might end up doing 3D, but I really call it solutions. You guys are going to have to do the visual solutions of communication, right? And because you guys are trained in doing that, because you did advanced computing 1 and advanced computing 2 and digital media design and all of these nice modules that you did throughout your tenure here, because of that, the principal architect knows that you are well equipped to find creative ways to visually explain their complex ideas quickly using technology. So I'll be watching out for that. I'm sure I will meet you one of these days in the field, and I'll see what you come up with for your design projects. But that's basically the experience that I wanted to show you with using architectural infographics. And we even managed to fit a little bit of game engine in there to kind of just give you a demo of what it is to use a game engine. I mean, literally, we could get a character of Mario and just drop it in here and start. Of course, I don't know that much about the video game part of this whole thing, but you know, in terms of the creating of the environments, that is something that we know about. But you can see that this tool, let me kind of zoom out here, that's our little game there, but we're just not using it to like kill zombies. We're actually using it to to show what her design would look like. In the example that you guys are going to be experiencing, is like the opposite of that. It's like, you know, they're using the actual architecture for entertainment. So it's just interesting how these two things overlap, and we're using it for two completely different things. But you know, we're manipulating pretty much the same software. Okay, so that is it for this segment. We have checked one item off the box. I did promise you guys that it wouldn't be a very long class. This was pretty much the main thing that we needed to cover. I also showed you guys a preview of the for those of you who might just be coming in, I showed you a preview of that class activity, that developer that uses architectural talent to make his game. And it's on your mirror board, sorry. So, right, and this is on the class mirror board. I'm put a little border around it so that it's there we go. It's also sent as an email to everybody. This is our last activity in this area. Here's that video that I showed earlier that kind of gives you a preview of what to expect. And here is the link to the game here and the instructions. All right. So that is me to you. Any questions on what we just discussed? Going once. Going twice. And all right. Anybody wants to talk to me or discuss anything regarding the assignment 2, the infographic assignment 2? Before we close the book on infographics.
Sir, what's the due date for it again?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's check the website. Right. I believe the due date was a little up in the air because we weren't sure when your study tour was going to be. I wonder if I have to move it again. Hopefully not. Let's see. Let's head over to student and go to computing and computing 2. All right. So remember, all our due dates and deadlines are located on our timeline, which is right at the top of our sheet. So assignment 1, that was January 31st, so that is gone. Our assignment 2 had overlapped with, let me just highlight it here. So this is our assignment 1, which is 31st. We had started the assignment 2, you know, it had overlapped. I have here the 13th of February for assignment 2. So that would be the due date. So let's see here. You have some time, man. You have some time. I think I had put that time because I was expecting you guys would be going on study tour on Friday, but you're going next week. So I think I'll just make it stay. That due date should be okay, right, guys? It sounds like it's going to drop in the middle of your study tour, maybe. All right, but here what? I won't move it yet. I will just leave it at that spot, and let's see what happens next week, Monday, when we meet. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Anybody needed to preview anything with me regarding the assignment 2?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're going to do the same style again. We're going to use the breakout room. So as it is here now, those of you who don't need to meet with me, you are free to go. I'll see you on Monday. That's it for class for you guys. And those who want to meet with me, they can just stay back and we'll just do the breakout room thing that we did the last time. All right. So who was that again? Wellington?
No, Getfield.
Okay, Getfield. All right. Stand by, Getfield. Yeah,
Yes,
Getfield, what's
sir.
up? How is it going?
It's good. For the last class, my internet had like cut out in the beginning, so like I didn't catch everything that happened afterwards with the assignment. So I didn't get to pick one of the topics,
Oh,
one of the buildings, I think.
okay. You know where to get it? It's on the whiteboard.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
But
so
I remember before I chipped out, you said something like I would know the question or something like that. I don't remember.
okay. So basically, what I'll do for you is just pick any two questions on the handout. Right now, if you go to the, let me show you on my screen. If you go to the class website here, and you scroll down, you should see, so here is assignment 1, and you scroll down one more, and then here's assignment 2, here's the submission for it. And in assignment 2, basically you're going to select any two of these statements to create an infographic from. What we did in class was a little activity where we place the icons on the board and what have you, but this is essentially what we did. So you just choose any two and choose a building to use. And what we did in class is that persons showed me their ideas, most persons, so they would sketch it out on a paper. You know, they would say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut the building in half and I'm going to show the graph of whatever, you know, but remember the talk on architectural infographics. So you're not trying to get complex. You're trying to go simple. So you're basically trying to create a party diagram with information layered into it.
Okay, so just choose two of these and then link it to the building that I choose.
That's like use a selected building to generate the infographic. That's how I would phrase it.
Okay.
Right?
All
Remember
right,
that there's the instructions is also on the page, just in case you don't remember.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And
Thanks,
the link to the models are on the mirror board. All right. Okay, so that's all you wanted to know.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let me go back to the main room now.
All right.
Oh boy, I didn't realize I was muted for most of that talk. All right, you guys hearing me now, right? I do. All right, I'm saying that if nobody else wants to meet, then I will see you on Monday. All right, guys. And remember, this assignment too is due on the 13th. All right. So stay safe. See you on Monday.